Back to another video on the Inside Spurs on a happy Wednesday late morning. That's right, I'm doing this one a bit earlier. I hope you're enjoying the day. The day's looking after you. Work's going all right. You know, if you got the day off, make the most of it because these things are obviously finite. In this video, though, we're talking the game tomorrow, the Chelsea away game, the game that it was supposed to be played at the end of February, now being played in early May. So we'll talk about some injury news because there's quite a bit that's come out from both teams. Just general thoughts and feelings because I think it's going to be a hard game to predict. So plenty to talk about, plenty to get into. Just want to say though, if you're new, give us a subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. And this game, obviously, the swing fixture earlier on in the season, which was, I do have it here. I went to the game, but I just cannot remember it. It was the 6th of November, okay, and it was a game that started off very, very well. You know, we went 1-0 up through Kulusevski, and then Sonny had a goal ruled out for offside as well. And, we had Romero got sent off for a challenge that, to be honest, I see at least once every other weekend, at least, if not every weekend. And by the way, they don't even get given as fouls, or they're not even given as a booking. Which is, it shows you the level of the refereeing in this league. I mean, if you watched the game yesterday, the Bayern Munich Real Madrid game, I can't remember what the referee's name is. Apologies. He was, and I will not put this anything short of perfect. He genuinely was telling Real Madrid players who are throwing themselves around, up you get. He was giving advantages. He was giving all sorts. There was 3 minutes added on in the second half. And that's with subs and things like that because he let the game just flow. Just let the two teams play. You know, and it was a great game of football to watch, 2-2. And this game, obviously, was something completely different. Obviously, had the sending off. They actually scored, but it was ruled out for offside. Then they got the penalty from the VAR review. When you then look at the rest of it, we were 1-0 at half-time. I'd still say we were probably just as good as they were with 10 men. And then Destiny, about 10 minutes in, gets sent off for the second yellow, I believe it was. And and then Nicholas Jackson got a hat-trick, which, wow, that is a statement in itself. To be honest, obviously we had a goal ruled out for offside, the Dyer volley, which lives rent-free in all of our heads still. That was at the end that I was sitting in the wall, so that was the end. And it was electric, and then it got ruled out for offside, and it was like conceding. It was that kind of gutting feeling in your stomach. To be honest, with 9 men, you get people going, we should have sat back. Boring. We were probably the better team with 9 men, genuinely. And that's, that might have been a Spurs were rocking and rolling at the time. We were top of the league. Chelsea at the time was struggling, and maybe that's. I mean, look, I think since this, we're form-wise not doing very well since this game, but, these things happen. I'm really looking forward to this game because of the situations of injuries and things like that. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. I want to go through Chelsea's last 5 games. Starting from furthest away till now, they drew 2 away to Sheffield United. They beat Everton 6-0. They then lost in the FA Cup semi-final to Manchester City. They got pumped by Arsenal 5-0. And then they had a really good result last weekend against Villa, the 2-2 draw. So, some good and some bad results in that. I think the Villa result and the Everton result, cracking stuff. They kind of threw the game away against Sheffield United. Had that FA Cup final, had someone up front not named Nicholas Jackson, they might actually be in the final. And, Arsenal were not far off perfect in the game when they played them. And, these things happen. Obviously, I went through Spurs' last one in the Arsenal game, so I won't go through that as much. But, obviously, lost them early on the season. We want to avenge that loss. Looking at some teams, let me just do Chelsea, because I think I'm going to be here a while. Genuinely, be here a while. So, bear with me. Right, first and foremost is they reckon Thiago Silva will be out injured. He was taken off late in the draw with Aston Villa and replaced by Axel Disasi. So I expect Disasi to start for Chelsea. Reece James still injured. Christopher Nkunku is back in partial training, injured. Levi Colwill, another centre-back, he's got a toe injury, and they reckon he and James Reece James are close, but they're not not there yet. They're in partial training as well. Raheem Sterling was apparently added to the Chelsea injury report on Friday, just before the Villa game. And he wasn't in the squad with a back injury. Poch said hopefully it's not a big issue, and he can be available as soon as possible because he's going to lose 2 players. Kane Chukwuemeka, I might have said that one wrong. Apologies. He's got a knee injury again, something similar to Sterling in terms of timetable. Enzo Fernandez out for the season. Malo Gusto, the right back, was absent for the Arsenal game because he got a knock in the FA Cup game with City. He's back on the injury report after and missed the game with Villa. Apparently it's minor knee ligament problems. Speaking as a person who's had ligament issues in your knee, you just don't want to risk those things because once they go, all right. Chilwell was absent from the game against Arsenal and he featured off the bench obviously against Man City, but he was out of the Villa clash. Poch, what did Poch say? Poch said he's been suffering it for the last few weeks. Robert Sanchez, goalkeeper, has been out for nearly 2 months. They reckon he might be back for this game, but touch and go. Romeo Lavia, the midfielder who's played, I think, as many minutes for Chelsea as you and I have. He's out till the next season. Here we go. There's another one. Leslie Ugo Chukwu. Wow. He returned to partial training after 4 months out. His last game was on Christmas Eve. Crikey. And then, the probably the longest one of them all, Wesley Fofana. Out obviously for the rest of the season. So, I mean, counting that, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 players. And you got to think of some of those players are starting. Thiago Silva starting, Reece James is captain, Chris Nkunku. I know Cole Palmer's had a really good season, but I still think Chris Nkunku is probably their best player. I have always thought Chris Nkunku is a fantastic player for a long time. Levi Cole started the season at left back and left centre back. Raheem Sterling, you could maybe say, is a starter. Enzo started a lot of games this year. Bought him for 100 million as well. They're doing building work outside. Malo Gusto started at right back most of the season. Ben Chilwell probably starting left back. Robert Sanchez was the starting goalkeeper at the start of the season. Spent 45 million on Lavia. And Wesley Fofana spent 75 million on. So, look, they're missing a lot of key guys. Speaking about Spurs, look, we obviously know about the long-term injuries with players like, Man or Solomon. We know about injuries with Ryan Sessegnon and people like that. So I won't really talk as much on those. But we have added 2 new names who are going to miss probably the rest of the season in Timo Werner and Ben Davies. So for Timo, I would just assume not Ben Johnson, he's a left back. Brennan Johnson will probably play the left wing. And I think on the right, you obviously see Kulusevski. Had Werner maybe been fit, maybe you would have seen Kulu drop into the midfield because there seems to be a bit of a push for that at the moment. But looking at the rest of the winger situation, unless he's going to move Sonny to the left, Richie through the centre and Jono outright with Kulu in the centre, maybe that's what he could do. For me, I would probably go... thinking about it, actually, hang on. Chelsea Villa. Let me just look at their starting 11 centre backs wise. They had Badiashile and Thiago Silva, so they'll have Badiashile and Disasi. A part of me does think Sonny to go through the centre. Part of me does, but actually, I can see a front three of Son, Richie and Jono, and then obviously Kulu then dropping into the midfield because I think Maddison might get dropped. I think, look, he's bang out of form. If he's out of form, you need to think about every other player that you have in your squad that maybe is going to offer you more at that time. And when we think about just looking at the team that we had out for the Arsenal game, I hope Højbjerg gets dropped. Bentancur, I think, will get dropped as well. I think you'll probably see a midfield 2 of the Sarr and Basuma. Let me go through back to front and make it a bit easier. I think Vicario is going to be in goal. I think Porro is going to be right back. I think you're going to see Romero. And with Davies being out, there's 2 ways you go about it. Is Emerson playing an inverted left back? Or are you playing Mickey van der Vatten out on the left side? And then obviously in the centre-back position, you'll have Dragusin. Don't get me wrong. From set pieces, you'll be better because obviously Dragusin might be one of our better Well, he's better than Mickey van der Ven in the air, that's for sure. Just thinking about their team, you'll have the two centre-halves. I mean, Chelsea aren't the biggest of teams. Jackson, I think, has got a bit of height to him, to be fair, but they're not the biggest of teams, and maybe you might get away with the fact you might play Emerson at left-back. I don't know what I would want, to be honest, because I don't see Dragusin being a left centre-back. I see him being a right centre-back, and you're not moving Romero from right centre-back, The midfield, the midfield three, I think, will probably be Basuma, it'll be Sarr, and I think maybe he might move Kulusevski into the midfield, and then a front three of Johnson, Sonny and Richie. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I think Maddison probably could do with coming off the bench, and actually Maddison off the bench, that's a very good luxury to have, isn't it? Would I want to see Giovanni Lo Celso maybe? I would want to see Gio, but he's not going to be playing, is he? And this talk of offering him a new contract just makes no sense to me. That is we don't want to have to spend money on a new centre attack in mid this summer. We'll just try and keep what we have. Well, he probably wants to go because you don't bloody play him. You've got to play him for him to want to stay here, So what I'm thinking for the game, it's a difficult one because I'm thinking if both teams are at their fullest, Spurs go in there and win. Like in terms of best performances, I think Spurs go in there and win. I think Chelsea, if you can kind of ignore the Arsenal game, the last two big games I had was the FA Cup and Villa. They played well in both those games. Maybe not the first half against Villa, but in the second half they played better. FA Cup, they were pretty decent. I watched the game and they were pretty decent. I would say you're going to go 2-2 again, like I did for Arsenal, the Arsenal game. I was close with that one, actually, with 2-2. I think 2-2, if we look at the... I want to look at the league table quickly. That's not where the league table is. Bear with me again here. Hang on a second. I think if we look at the league table, we're 7 points behind Villa with 2 games in hand. This and City are the 2 games. You never know. Stranger things can happen in this league in terms of we could even lose one of these games and still get top 4. So, it would probably mean us going to Anfield this weekend and getting a result. And to be honest, I think Liverpool were out of the title race. So beating them is losing to them was obviously a thing where, it will help. It will help Arsenal not win the league. I don't see Liverpool winning the league now. So going out on there and winning might not be the worst thing in the world now. But also, this is a game in hand that we have. I don't know if I'll have a quick look at Manchester United because they are only 1 game ahead of us. Just have a quick little look at their fixtures. They play Monday night, so this is a game in hand completely against them. They're 6 points behind us with 4 games. So if we lose this, we're 6 points still with 4 games remaining. 2 of which being Liverpool and Man City. So you're going to have to win. If you won the other 2 games, I'm not too worried about it. Our goal difference is plus 14 on them as well. With Newcastle, we're 7 points clear, again with a game in hand. Their goal difference is obviously a bit better than ours by 4. Ironic, because obviously we lost them 4-0. But again, I'm not too worried because, again, if you win those Burnleys and those Sheffield United games, you finish on 66 points. Manchester United are going to need minimum of 12 points. So I think we can pretty much, as long as we don't go absolutely, completely bottoms up, we should be on for 5th at least. But yeah, I think 2-2 I think will be fair. I'm interested to see what you guys think because this is a awful game. The game at the Bridge is always a tense, it's always a great game for the neutral, but for a Chelsea or Spurs fan, these games are always quite an awkward game, So I'm interested to see what you guys think. But anyway, guys, at the end of the video, I hope you enjoyed it. Drop a like on the video if you did. Hit me in the comments section your thoughts and feelings about the game tomorrow. Key things, score lines. Who do you think is going to be starting the left back? And who do you think is going to be starting the midfield and up front? I want to know it all because there's a lot to happen. Obviously, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're so close to 2,100 subscribers, which is nice and cool. And obviously, hit the bell notification for more. But anyway, guys, at the end of the video, I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.